Good afternoon. It's good to be with you. As the video said, I've been in youth ministry for the last 10 years, so this is a little out of my comfort zone to be speaking to business majors, people involved in business, because most people assume youth ministers get into youth ministry because they don't want a real job, and that's kind of true, but I found that the youth ministers that stay in youth ministry, that's not why they got into youth ministry. It's not why I got into youth ministry. I got into youth ministry because I wanted to make a big difference, and I felt that getting involved in the lives of young people, giving them mentors, giving them spiritual guidance, helping them to really understand who Christ is was the best way to make a difference. And over 10 years, I've been privileged to see generations shift and generations change. And one of the things that I absolutely love about this new generation is that you guys want to change the world. When I got into youth ministry back in the early 2000s, it's like any time, people have always wanted to make differences, but as each generation has come along, I've just seen more and more and more kids who really want to make a change and make a difference. And I believe that a lot of business majors out there are wanting to make a difference in whatever field they're getting into, whether it's healthcare, whether it's finance, whether it's whatever it is, they want to make a difference. And so as you go out to try to make a difference, what you may find is that sometimes what you want to make a difference in and what other people want to make a difference in may not necessarily go hand in hand. A couple years ago when my wife and I were moving back to Nashville, we contacted a realtor that was a friend of a friend, and we were talking to him about what we wanted a house. We told him, well, we'd like it to be kind of close to the city, but in a good school district, and we'd like 4 bedrooms, and we'd like to find this all for under $200,000. And our realtor, who was a super nice guy, he very politely smiled at us and said he'd do his best. But what he really meant was this is not going to happen, because you cannot get all of these things that you want. None of these one things was bad, but just you can't get a house that expensive or at that price that's that close to the city, that's in a good school district and all these things. You have to make compromises. And in youth ministry, as I've said, one of my goals has always been to have a church that's friendly to the kids who don't understand church, to the kids who haven't been raised in church, and kids who have questions, and kids who think differently. I've always had a strong passion that those kids need a church, and it needs a church to be able to reach out and to embrace them. But some of the people who I've worked with over the years, and this isn't a bad thing, but their view of a church is they want a place that's safe. And they want a place that when kids come into church, they can have a break from the world, where they can have a sheltered environment. And that's not a bad thing, but sometimes those things butt heads. And sometimes that's going to happen to you in the business world, where your vision and somebody else's vision for your company or for your organization is not going to be bad, but it's going to butt heads. And as you start out and you're young, you usually don't get your way. And what I want to encourage you is to keep your integrity and fight for the things that matter to you. But I also want to encourage you to be business savvy and realize that you don't always get your way, and that sometimes you have to make compromises, and sometimes you have to find ways to make people within your organization content and happy with what you're doing, and to help them get their way sometimes. Because if not, if you forget why you got into what you're getting into, you're going to burn out. You're going to lose your zeal, and you're going to stop doing what it is that you feel like you were meant to do. And if you feel like you were put on this planet with the sole purpose of making money, without getting very preachy today, I would like to encourage you, find something else. Make your life about something more than that. Make your life about making a difference. And I believe that if you keep the integrity of your vision, keep the zeal for what you want to do, then I believe that you guys really can. Thank you.